Here is the deal. Identity theft is a real thing that happens to real people every day, and it has a real cost too. According to the Federal Trade Commission, in 2021, they received 2.8 million fraud reports for more than $5.8 billion in losses. This was a 70% increase over the previous year. Nearly 1.4 million of the 2.8 million fraud reports to the FTC were reports of identity theft. In this special episode of the Martini Mortgage Podcast, I'm going to share a way that you can be proactive to protect your identity and, in turn, your credit. Welcome to episode 139 of the Martini Mortgage Podcast. My name is Kevin Martini. I'm a certified mortgage advisor with the Martini Mortgage Group, which is located in Raleigh, North Carolina. However, I help families in all 100 counties in North Carolina and pretty much in every state in the U.S. too. I'm calling this special episode, You Got to Freeze It. Why the heck is a mortgage guy talking about identity theft? Let me help you connect the dots. To get a mortgage, you need to have credit. Contrary to popular opinion, you don't have to have perfect credit to get a mortgage, because I get it. Bad things happen to good people. One could lose a job or get sick. It happens. And when it happens, even paying the minimum payment on a credit card is a daunting proposition. Events out of your control, like an unexpected illness or job loss, are one thing. But today there's a wealth of bad actors out there perpetrating the crime of identity theft. Oh, by the way, this crime of identity theft does not have a minimum age limit. Here's a crazy fact. People in the ages from 20 to 29 reported losing more often than people over the age of 80. This crime of identity theft could cost you money, time, and access to an epic low mortgage rate, or even access to getting a mortgage, because the impact could be so detrimental to your credit and credit score. Basically, every couple of seconds, fraud in the form of identity theft occurs. Oh, wow, it just happened again. Your odds of winning the mega million jackpot is maybe 1 in 300 million. The odds of falling victim to ID theft is 1 in 15. So what can you do to protect yourself and your family? In my opinion, you gotta freeze it. Freeze what, you asked? You have to freeze your credit. Let me share the Kevin Martini bottom line. One needs to be proactive to prevent identity theft. They should not just be reactive. It is my opinion that the only way you can be proactive is by freezing your credit. Freezing your credit essentially restricts access or locks others out from accessing your credit. It is my opinion that your credit freeze is the most powerful thing that one can do to protect themselves from the fraud of identity theft. Yes, when your credit is frozen, you nor anyone else can have access to your credit. I know what you're thinking right now. What about the existing credit that you have? What happens to that? It's important to highlight that freezing your credit does not have any effect on your existing credit. So your current mortgage is not impacted by the freeze. Your current car loan is not impacted by the freeze. Your current credit cards are not impacted by the freeze. You get the picture. Another concern you may have is about your credit scores. Does freezing your credit negatively impact your credit score? The answer is no. Freezing your credit has no negative impact on your credit scores, and I could even make an argument it improves your credit score since there is no unauthorized access to your credit. I do want to highlight something that is important. You are locking your credit, not your credit score. In other words, you are not freezing your credit score where it is when you freeze your credit. Your credit score may go up, down, or stay the same based on how responsible you are with your credit. Again, the credit freeze does not freeze your credit score in any way. A credit freeze prevents unwanted access to your credit. The key word here is unwanted. You still have the ability to apply for a car loan. You still can apply for a mortgage to buy your dream home or refinance your current home, and you can still request a credit line increase from your credit card company or apply for a new credit card. The only thing that you have to do before applying for new credit is to manage your freeze by a very simple process that is called thawing your credit. You can thaw your credit for a specific creditor. You can thaw your credit temporarily for a predefined period of time, or you can permanently thaw it. Oh, by the way, sometimes a creditor is not the only person you might want to thaw your credit for. Some job openings today require a credit check. If that is the case, know that thawing your credit is super simple, but to maximize your time, you might want to ask the employer or the creditor which credit agency they are using, and then simply thaw that one instead of all three. The credit freeze does not stop one from unsolicited pre-screen offers of credit. You can opt out of these solicitations by calling 888-567-8688 or by going to www.optoutprescreen.com. Oh, by the way, I have firsthand confirmation that the election to opt out of pre-screen offers will have a positive impact on your credit score. I want to make one point very clear. A credit freeze does not guarantee there will never be an unauthorized access to your credit. However, freezing your credit significantly lowers the probability it will happen. Now, how do you do a credit freeze? Freezing your credit is insanely simple, and it is free for North Carolina residents. You see, the Martini Mortgage Group has its headquarters in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we're very well versed on the North Carolina General Assembly Chapter 75, Article 2A, or what is commonly referred to as the Identity Theft Protection Act. Under this statute, not only is it free for you to freeze your credit, it is also free for a parent to do it for a child. Yes, if you have a child, you should freeze their credit too. According to the Identity Theft Research Center, 1.3 million children's records are stolen every year. There are 3 repositories of credit, or credit agencies if you prefer, and they are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. You will need to contact each of the 3 credit bureaus. I want to make sure I properly communicate at this point. You must contact all 3 credit bureaus to establish a freeze. You can contact them online, via phone, or by mail. I want to make sure you know that you have to connect with all 3 credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Contacting 2 of the 3 keeps one of the 3 naked and makes you very vulnerable. To help, if you go to the show notes for episode 139 of the Martini Mortgage Podcast, you will find an informative link that goes to a page in my learning center of my website, which will provide the telephone numbers, the website addresses, and the mailing addresses for Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion for the purpose of freeze. You may not have heard about the term credit freeze, but maybe you've heard of credit monitoring. To me, credit monitoring is like a deadbolt lock on your credit, whereas credit monitoring is like a door chime. When the door chime rings, there has already been a breach. And to me, you do not need just a credit freeze. Adding credit monitoring to the mixture is always a good plus. Again, there is no guarantees that a freeze will protect you 100% of the time. One may still steal your non-public private information or maybe hack into one of your existing open accounts. However, in my opinion, the credit freeze is the most reliable defense you have in your arsenal to prevent identity theft. In closing, check out episode 139 show notes by going to Martini Mortgage Podcast and check out the resources to have access to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion's telephone number, website, and address to initiate your credit freeze. Thank you for tuning in, and I truly appreciate you sharing this special episode with someone you care about that may benefit. Again, my name is Kevin Martini, and I'm a certified mortgage advisor with the Martini Mortgage Group, which is located in Raleigh, North Carolina. However, I help families all over the U.S. If you are buying a home and need a home loan, know that I provide trusted advice with a frictionless process that offers great rates and certainty to you and your family. Real estate transactions need to always close on time and need to be stress-free and should be a world-class experience for everyone involved. That is what I offer, and this is what my fellow mortgage strategist, Logan Martini, offers too. If you want or need mortgage help or want to explore your homeownership options as a first-time home buyer or a repeat home buyer, know that we are here to help you. Just give us a jingle at 919-238-4934. Stay safe out there, and wishing you peace and blessings. Now it's time for the disclaimer. This material has been prepared for marketing purposes only. This is not a loan commitment or guarantee of any kind. Loan approval and rate are dependent upon borrower's credit, collateral, financial history, and program availability at time of origination. Rates and terms are subject to no change without notice. The Martini Mortgage Group at PCL Financial is a division of Celebrity Home Loans, MLS 227765, with a branch address of 507 North Blunt Street, Raleigh, North Carolina, 27604. You can contact Certified Mortgage Advisor and Producing Branch Manager Kevin Martini, NMLS 143962, by calling the branch, and that number is 919-238-4934. For a full list and more licensing information, please visit www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org or by visiting www.martinimortgagegroup.com. Equal housing lender.